Hi everyone, this is Heather, and today I am here to share with you a Halloween card tutorial of a ghost who is floating by on an acetate card front. Isn't that cute? I'm going to admit that this was not completely my idea. I saw a card over on the Sugar Pea Designs blog, and I will link in the description box down below to the original card that inspired this one. The designer had a row of little ghosts that were floating across the acetate card front, and I just thought that was such a cute and clever idea. It was just so perfect for the little ghosts that I thought, man, I really want to make a card like that. So I did want to mention, I see or hear a lot of people say when they see cards online that they really fall in love with, they feel like they absolutely have to use everything that the designer used when they made their card. They have to have all the embellishments and the exact paper and stamp set and everything, but I like to kind of take ideas and put my own spin on them, and also just try and use the products that I may already have. I've been stamping for a very long time. I have a huge collection, actually an out of control collection of stamps and embellishments, papers and everything. And so I like to try and see if I see an idea that I like, if I might already have something that would work. So the card has a patterned base of patterned paper, a fold over at the top to hold down the acetate and the cute little ghost floating by. Like I said, the card that inspired this one had kind of a row of ghosts, a little bit of a simpler straight edge across the top. But so I went through my supplies to see what I might have that I could use for that same inspiration. So I'm using today some products from A Muse Studio, and I'm using their Ghostly Greetings stamp set. This was released a while ago, but I checked online and it is still currently available from A Muse. And it's got the adorable ghost that we're going to use, a witch's hat, pumpkin, skeleton, some really cute witch shoes with stripy socks and candy, really great sentiments. And it also comes, you can also purchase a Ghostly Greetings die set that coordinates with the shapes and images, stamped images from this set. So this is still currently available, but you could just go through your stash and see. As I was going through, like I said, I have lots of stuff. I actually had multiple ghosts in different sets. These are a couple of stamps from My Cute Stamps, which unfortunately is a company that is no longer around, but just, you know, kind of went through and was surprised to see, and I probably have even more than these 3 ghosts, but just look through your stuff and see what you might already have that you can use. The papers and the dies are also from A Muse, except for the circle die, so we'll get to that. So what you're going to need is a cardstock base, and one of the things that I love about A Muse Studio cardstock is that it's pattern on one side but white on the other, which is really nice. It doesn't really matter for this particular project, but if you're making a card, even if you're using a darker pattern, you know that it's going to be white on the inside, so it's easy to stamp or write a sentiment on the inside. So I'm using this gray kind of honeycomb pattern, and this is cut to 4 1/2 by 4. Sorry, I'm trying to glance at my numbers here. So this is cut to 4 1/2 by 4. And then I've got a piece of acetate that is, or window sheet, plastic, whatever you've got, that is cut to 4 by 4, because ultimately this card will be a 4 by 4 card. Then some more A Muse Studio paper, some of the honeycomb in kind of a orangey color, and then a white with a gray polka dot. Just kind of need some scraps. The orange has been cut to 2 by 2. We're going to die cut that, so whatever size circle die cut or punch that you have, you just want large enough for that. And then the gray sheet for the clouds across the top of the card is 4 by 1 3/4. And then you're also going to need a couple of pieces of white. Again, it's going to depend on the size of your die cut and your stamp, but for this particular stamp from A Muse Studio, my 2 pieces of white are cut to 2 by 3 each. So the first thing we're going to do is score our cards. I'm going to take the base and I'm going to grab my scoring tool here. If you don't have a scoreboard, a lot of times you can use the channel in your paper trimmer will work as well with the bone folder, a lot of box and envelope templates, or you could also just use a ruler in your bone folder. So I'm just gonna put it up here in the corner of my scoring board, and we're gonna score at 1/2. Careful not to press down too hard because you don't want to tear through your paper. Then I'm going to fold this over and use my bone folder here just to make sure that I've got a nice straight crease. And we are done with the scoring board. Get that out of the way. And now we're going to grab the acetate. Oops, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we're going to grab the acetate, and I'm going to run, I'm going to open up the card and place it with the white side up. Grab my adhesive runner, and just on that section here that we scored, that little 1/2 inch area, I'm going to run a line of adhesive across, and then I'm going to take my 4x4 acetate and see if I can get that lined up across the top here. This is the tricky part because it wants to stick. There we go. Okay, so what that does then is when you open up the card, you won't see any adhesive. So now we're ready to die cut. And the only die cut that is not from A Muse Studio is this stitched circle die. It is from Stampin' Up, from their Stitched Shapes framelits dies. That will go onto the orange. I'm going to place the ghost onto one of the white pieces. Those two don't really need to be taped down, but I do want to tape the clouds down so they don't shift around in there while I'm die cutting. So I'm just grabbing a couple of pieces of repositionable tape. You could use washi tape, low tack tape, and I'm just going to tape both of those sides down so that it doesn't slip. So this is on the gray polka dot paper, the ghost is just on the plain white cardstock, and the circle is on the orange paper. I'll bring my plate over here and lay my dies down on the plates. Make my sandwich, bring my big shot over, and run everything through my die cut machine. And I always like to run everything back again just to make sure that it's cut through all the way. Sorry for shaking the camera, that always happens. So let's get our plate open here. And so we've got our cloud die. I love the touch of the stitching on this. Carefully take that tape off. It's got a nice cloud there. And then we've got our little circle that's going to be the moon in the clouds. And then we've got the ghost. And the dies that come with A Muse Studio are not open dies, they are solid dies. I'm going to be honest, it makes it a little difficult to stamp with. I'm going to show you a little trick that I kind of try to work so that I can get my stamped images and die cuts lined up. So in getting them out of the die is a little difficult, so I like to take a mechanical pencil. There are little dots in there. You could just use a punch tool, anything that will fit in there, and just kind of pop that die out. So you want to keep, we're going to die cut this twice, you're going to keep one of the negative images and one of the positive images, and then we're going to die cut again the ghost one more time. Run this back through our die cut machine. And this time we're just going to keep the positive die cut shaped image. So you want 2 ghosts and 1 shape. Pop that out again and kind of take my eraser and erase those little marks there. Because one of the ideas that I thought was really great on the card that I got this idea from is that so you couldn't see the adhesive, she used an extra die on the inside back of the acetate. So that is why we need 2 of these. One will be stamped and one will not be stamped. So we're gonna stamp out the image, and I am using a stamp positioning tool. A lot of people have the Misty. This happens to actually be something that Hampton Arts put out that is very similar, that I picked up at the craft store before that. I'm going to be honest, they had to pull this tool because of, I guess, copyright or patent. I guess it was probably patent issues. So, but the trick that I've kind of found here is to take the negative image of the die cut, turn it over, and put the stamp inside that opening so that the rubber is kind of poking through. And then I'm going to place this in the corner of my stamp positioning tool and put my magnets down. So with the magnets in place, we're going to close the lid, pick up that stamp, place the positive die cut image back in there like a little puzzle piece, grab our black ink and ink up the stamped image while it's on the lid here, and then close it and hope that we get a fairly good lined up image. And that looks pretty good. I'm okay with that. We're gonna set our stamp positioner off to the side, and I am going to wanted to add just a little bit of shading around the ghost. I don't know if you can see that on camera there. So I took a kind of a medium gray marker. This happens to be a Spectrum Noir alcohol marker in BG2, but any kind of medium gray marker that you have, and I'm just going to follow along the stamped image on the inside just to give him a little bit more depth. I'm just going to trace around there with the marker. And I also wanted to give him some little cheeks because he's a cute little happy ghost. Alright, so I've just kind of got a little bit of gray, hope you can see that, around the ghost there. And bring our card front back over and all of our little pieces that we've die cut, and we're going to put down the clouds. So with the card folded, the acetates over the top, along the same line there where we added the adhesive for the acetate on the cardstock, we're going to run another line of adhesive across the acetate and line up the top of the cloud die on the top and sides of the card, so that then when you open it up you cannot see the adhesive on the inside, so it's nice and clean on the inside. Then on our ghost and on our moon, circle moon that we've cut out, we're going to grab some foam squares on the back of our ghost and our moon, and the moon goes up in the right hand corner, on the clouds. Get that backing paper off there. Like that. And then the ghost goes directly on the acetate on the front of the card. Kind of in the lower right hand, or sorry, lower left hand corner there. And now you can see that you see the adhesive that we've used. So that was a really clever tip from the card. We're going to place just the white non-stamped die cut over top on the inside. So what would normally be the front of the die cut that we would have stamped on, we're going to apply just some regular adhesive and line that up on the inside of the acetate, inside of the card on the acetate. So now it's nice and neat on the inside. Isn't that cute? That is just such a clever idea. So now we're going to stamp our word. So I've got the ghostly greetings from the same A Muse Studio stamp set. And I kind of wanted to play around a little bit with where I wanted it to make sure that it was going to be in the right spot. It wasn't going to be covered up or anything. So I'm going to grab my pencil again. Just kind of make a little tick mark here where I want that to be, just so that it's not covered up by the ghost or the clouds. I'm going to bring my black ink over, and I just happen to be using black memento. I think I've said that a bunch of times. It's just kind of my favorite black go-to ink. I'm going to find my little tick mark there and line up my stamped image. Got that on the inside of my card, and how cute is that? So you could do a row of ghosts or add some other images. I just think the idea of the little ghost floating on the acetate was just so cute and clever. And like I said, I just kind of added my own spin to it. The fact that it's really neat and clean on the inside makes my OCD very happy. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Like I said, I'll link to the Sugar Pea Designs blog card. That was the inspiration for this. So next time you see a card and you really like it, don't feel like you have to rush out and purchase everything to make a card exactly like it. Go through your stash and see what you have that you might be able to make something, add your own twist to it. So thank you so much for joining me today. Please check out my channel. I have product reviews and other tutorials on there, and I hope you have a happy Halloween. Bye!